Well, good afternoon and a very warm welcome to Orient Live. We are back in action today, and what a beautiful, glorious day it is for football indeed. The sun is shining and hopefully the O's can get back to winning ways and pick up some much needed 3 points to keep in that pack hunting for the playoffs. I'm delighted to be in the studio this afternoon with Jabbo Abire and Joe Widdowson. And I mean, covered it there, Jabbo, but let's not beat around the bush. A win would be very, very nice.
Yeah, we need it to get back on track, I think, if we're going to have any realistic aspirations to make that playoff spot. And, but I think it's a perfect game to be involved in today. I think it's a team that, if we do things right, we can put to the sword.
It's easy to look at the form table and say 4 defeats on the bounce, but you throw in some really tough away games, some really unfortunate injuries, some red cards that can be debated. You can't let the form and those results kind of define us going into this game, can you?
No, you can't, and I think you have to just put those games behind us. Obviously, it's been a disappointing run, like you said. A number of little factors have just kind of gone against us, but there's still a lot to play for, and I'm sure that would have been the message all week. Like there's so much at stake still. Do you know what I mean? And it's a massive opportunity today to get back to winning ways and get back to picking up points again.
And you look at Northampton on paper and you say maybe it's not as tricky as a Birmingham or a Bolton away. But new manager, fighting for points themselves. This isn't going to be a walk in the park. No,
definitely not. I think they got 2 draws in their recent games. Lowlands come and give that new manager a lift, and they want to be kind of distancing themselves from the relegation zone. So they're going to be fighting for everything, and obviously they're going into the business end of their season. But we are very strong at home. I think we won 6 and lost 2 in recent form at home. So. We know we're good here, and we need that win. I think we'll be gunning for it today.
You certainly will. Well, of course it is former Orient player manager Kevin Nolan's Northampton Town, who are going to be looking to pick up some much needed points, but that won't Richie Wellens won't let that phase him. Let's take a listen now and hear what Richie had to say ahead of this afternoon's clash.
Gaffer, Northampton to come on Saturday. The last few results obviously haven't gone our way, and it's been quite a tight, congested period. So is another game so soon, what we want?
Well, after Tuesday, this is a massive game. This is a game that everybody, when you get into 6, everybody goes, "Oh, you're going to make the playoffs," and you go on a bad run, and everybody discards the playoffs. And the way that you should think about it is just get the next game, win the next game. The picture will change at 5:00, 5:30 on Saturday. And then go the week after and win the next game. That's all we can do, win the next game. We've got ourselves into a position that probably more or less everybody would have took at the start of the season. And you look at all the other teams, they've all had, Huddersfield have had a bad run, Wrexham had a bad run, but they've recovered really, really well. And what we've got to do now is we've got to recover really, really well. And more than anything, we've got to defend set plays. We've 80% of the goals in the last 7 games have been set plays, so we need to defend them better. We need to be more physical, more contacting around the box, and better at that aspect of the game, because there's no doubt in my mind that it's cost us quite a few points in the last few weeks.
And fans have been on a little bit of a emotional roller coaster of late, I would say. Obviously we've got up into 6th, we're now chasing to get back up there again. What do you want from them on Saturday? Well,
it's one of the most important games since I've been here, because if we lose, I think it's going to be really, really tough. If we win, then we're right back in it. So that's how big it is. There's going to be bigger games ahead if we win, but you can only deal with what is in front of you, and the next hurdle. Next hurdle is Northampton. So again, I thought it was excellent against Charlton. It was just tough, the situation, the way it happened. So be behind the boys, be like you've been for the last 4 or 5 weeks, and make it really difficult for Northampton players to be in the game, make it hostile for them, and obviously we can get 3 points off the back of that.
Three points is certainly the aim, and let's take a look at the starting 11 that Richie has opted for to try and hopefully pick up maximum points here in E10. And starting in goal, of course, is our superstar. It's Josh Keeley. Across the back line, Ethan Galbraith is at right back with Jaden Sweeney on the opposite side of defence. Romani Edmonds-Green starts at centre back, and he partners Jack Simpson, who's back from that ankle injury. In the midfield, captain Dan Prattley starts alongside Jordan Brown. Leading the line is Dan Adji, with Randall Williams, Jamie Donnelly and Azim Abdullahi just behind him. And on the bench is Noah Phillips, Brandon Cooper, Sean Clare, Don Ball Jelani Jasimi, Charlie Kelman and Sonny Perkins. The centre-back position's a big one, I think. Richie was very vocal in his post-match after the Rotherham game on Tuesday about how we've conceded a lot of goals from set-piece. Our last 3, in fact, have come from set-piece. Do you think maybe getting Jack Simpson back in there with that aerial presence is a little nod to that potentially? Yeah,
definitely. You know, he's good in the air. He reads danger well, especially from crosses. And it's nice to have him back in the team. And I think, you know, when there has been rotation, I think he's, you know, when you have Haps and Beckles, arguably probably my favoured pairing. But then when he comes in, he solidifies it really well as well. So it's nice to see him back there, and I hope that can bring some coherency between the back four again, and we can be solid.
The back line is really down to bare bones. I think you've got starting back four sat in the injury room we've spoken about Omar and Danby. You've got Jack Crow suspended and Tom James still out with a muscle injury. Jack Simpson's a big boost, and it actually means we've actually got someone on the bench who's a defender for once. It's bare bones, but you know they're going to have to step up.
Yeah, they are, and I think, look, you say bare bones, but you know you have a squad for that reason, and we've got good options there. You know, I think, you know, like, as Jabbo said, arguably you'd say maybe the starting centre backs would be Omar and Dan Happy, but you know Jack Simpson was in really good form before he got injured. Do you know what I mean? A really good player, and as Richie said, you know, after the Rotherham game, you know, he brings that height, brings that presence, makes the team more solid, defending set pieces, offers a threat aerially as well in the attacking box. So I think, you know, it's good to have him back. Good opportunity for Jayden Sweeney, you know, to get a little run, extended run with Jack Curry being out. So I think we've got good options there, and yeah, particularly I think, you know, offensively today, just looking at the team, I think like I'm expecting a lot of pace, energy. Yeah, us to be sort of like dynamic and really on the front foot with a team Richie's picked today.
Attack is, of course, the best form of defence. But let's focus on the defence just for another moment more, because Richie highlighted it in his post-match, and you know it maybe is something that's creeped in due to injuries. But how big a part do you think that could potentially play? Not mentally, but you know, is that in the back of a player's mind, thinking, you know, we have conceded 3 kind of crucial match-deciding set pieces in the last couple of games. The coaches and Richie, they'll be stamping that out and trying to start afresh almost.
I think they have to, because sometimes as a player you can, you know, you put your best foot forward, but then sometimes you look for an excuse and you go like, well, why has this happened? And then you start going, because they're out and they're out. But that's it, they are out. So what are we going to do to counteract that? You know, we can't cry over spilt milk. We have to do something. So I think now, you know, having Simpson back in, it's a boost, and it's a boost in the mind for the players. And I think, you know, sometimes the buck has to stop after losing 4 games on the bounce. You know, you have to suddenly be accountable for that. And what can we do going forward to negate missing particularly some crucial defenders? So I think, but I think Richie would have probably portrayed that message a bit more in training this week. And hopefully the message is in the players' heads, and we can be accountable doing something going forward rather than worrying about who we've missed. Like Joe was saying, you have a squad for a reason, and they're all capable, really good players. And it's about getting that rhythm once you're back in the team. And Simpson, when he has been in the team, has been really good.
He certainly has. And when we're talking about, you know, accountability and making sure players run their A game, someone who will be doing that on the pitch is Captain Darren Pratley. And you know, when you're looking to, I think he might even be 40 now. No, I think he's very, very nearly 40. And you're looking at him coming back into the side and managing his minutes. It's probably another indication from Richie's perspective, thinking what Northampton are going to be asking from us today as well. That kind of the battle side, putting us under pressure. Pratley's going to be massive in that regard.
Yeah, I think it will be, you know, will be tested physically today. I think, you know, just knowing a little bit about Northampton, and especially since Kevin Nolan's gone in there, one thing he demands is, you know, maximum effort from his players, and I think, you know, they're quite a strong team, physical, aggressive team. You know, not afraid to like mix it up at times, you know, and they won't mind, you know, sort of throwing in tackles and getting stuck in and trying to put us under pressure and make us uncomfortable, especially, you know, the way we try and play and dominate the ball. So I think it'll be a physical test. I think, you know, Darren Pratley will be Darren Pratley. You know, he'll do what he does. He'll be that experienced leader in the middle of the pitch. You know, he'll be leading by example and organising and setting the standards out there. And I think, today there is a bit of pressure on the game today. I think it is a bit of a must-win if we got any chance of trying to achieve the objectives this season and get into those playoffs. It's simply a must-win, and I think he'll be like obviously the skipper, but a key leader out there and trying to really sort of drive everyone on.
We're sat here, or you're sat here saying it's a must-win. Don't take any words out of my mouth, but is that? It does feel we're getting to that point of the season. 11 games to go, 10 after today. If you're looking at it from the dressing room, is seeing it as a must-win a positive, or is it something that might potentially creep into minds? How do you deal with that?
I think it's a positive. I think the games start to go down and your wins start to increase, in the sense if you're winning the games, you're like, cool, chalk that one off. We need to win again. We keep going. You get into that rhythm, don't you? So I think it's a positive. I remember one time we needed to win X games to make the playoffs, and we couldn't. I think we could only afford to lose or draw one game, which we drew, but we banged next game. Everyone's buzzing on to the next one. You just roll with it. You just get into that rhythm. So I think it's a good thing to really, because when it's like 46 games, you're like, oh yeah, must win. When the games start to reduce, it becomes more tenable that it is a must win. That game's off, 9 games to go, boom, and then you get into that rhythm. So I think it's a good thing.
And this is, by the way, this is nice pressure to have. It's different when you're at the bottom of the league and you have to win just to have a chance to try and stay up. That's horrible. That's not nice as a player, and that can really kind of make you nervous. Do you know what I mean? And jittery and on edge. But this is nice. They've got an opportunity to do something really good. It's been disappointing few results, but the past 3-4 months overall has been fantastic. It's been unbelievable. I don't think anyone really expected that we'd even be in the position to have, do you know what I mean, this kind of carrot of the playoffs just dangling, and it's still there, and I think it's a nice pressure. It's just a case of, look boys, give it everything and we'll see how far it takes us.
Well, it certainly is crunch time, and make sure you're with us for every second of the action. Of course, if you're watching along live on our YouTube stream, then don't forget, international fans, you can pick up a streaming pass to watch along with us for just £10. Kickoff is of course in just over 15 minutes. If you're watching on YouTube and you're in the UK, then you can pick up an audio pass to listen along with Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock as well. Just head over to the match centre at leytonorient.com. But now, before we head on and talk about some more Orient things, it's time to hear from another Orient legend. It's Mr. Terry Howard.
Terry, Richie said in his pre-game interview that this is one of the most important games of the season, if not the most important so far. Would you share that view?
Of course, it's all about the next game there, isn't it? And after what's happened the last 4 games, where the results after such a great run, we've had 4 defeats. Obviously today is, because defeat today, obviously mathematically we wouldn't be out of it by any stretch, but it just becomes so much harder. You look at the teams in and around us. We've played most of them in the last few weeks. It's tough, and we can't afford to give up any more ground.
Obviously, we have had the last 4 games have been defeats, I should say. But should we still take confidence from the run before that, because it was such an extended run of good form, wasn't it?
Of course, yeah. And look, let's be honest. If you look at the games we've lost, I think sometimes circumstances dictate what happens in the game. I mean, the Jack Curry sending off at Birmingham, 12 minutes. That absolutely stopped us in our tracks. The game against Charlton, we're 1-0 up going into added on time. Okay, to be fair, Charlton probably deserves something out of the game, but to get hit with 2 goals there, the game at Rotherham, own goal, 1-0, we missed a couple of very good chances. So although the results have gone against us, quite easily we could have got points out of them games. So I don't think we should be too down on ourselves. Listen, during that run, we probably had them little bits of luck that we're not getting now. That's how football is. So, it's all about the next game now, and obviously Richie's 100% correct that today becomes the most important game of the season.
And where will we need to be better today than what we have been in the last 4 games to get back on that winning trail?
I think listen, the problem is when you look at a lot of these teams now, they're very big physical sides. So obviously with no Omar Beckles in the side, no Dan Happy in the side, no Jack Simpson in the side, it's gonna affect you, And I thought the centre halves actually played well against Charlton, but just that physicality at the end, and the goals weren't down to them. Obviously we were poor at the set pieces. I thought the second goal against Charlton was a foul on our keeper, but as I say, these things happen. So set piece wise, we've got to be better. We've got to be, got to be a little bit harder in there, and when the chances come along, probably be a bit more clinical as well.
And just lastly, the sun's out, the temperature's up. I mean, are these the perfect conditions to come and play today?
It's a fantastic day to come and play football today. You know, it's fantastic to come and watch football as well. So, you know, let's hope we can get back on the winning track. I don't see why we can't. We just, you know, we've got to keep trusting in what we've been doing.
And of course, don't forget, after today, there are only 4 regular home games left for the O's here in E10. Do you know what that means? There's only 4 opportunities for you to get down to the Gotham Group Stadium and hopefully witness what is going to be a very special end to the season. The next home game, of course, that rescheduled one on the 27th of March. That is a Thursday evening kickoff, is at 8 o'clock. That is being covered on Sky and, of course, on Orient Live for international viewers. But tickets are available for all 4. I'm sure they'll sell out quickly though, so head over to the Match Centre and to pick up your ticket to make sure you don't miss out. But now let's talk about the fun part, Jabbo. Goals. It's what you built a career on, and it's what we're going to need to build a strong performance on today. We've touched on it, but attack to defend.
Yeah, really, really and truly, I think, you know, they've got to go and take the game to Northampton and, you know, win the game, not owing to the defence to keep a clean sheet. Let's just go and win the game, do the job going forward. And the selection he's chosen today is just exciting, blending with so much talent, pace, agility, individuality. I just can't wait to see how they all perform.
I mean, it's an interesting one. Jamie Donnelly's obviously going to be playing kind of through the middle in that 10 role. But then you've got Randall Williams, Dan Adji and Azim. You imagine Randall would definitely be out wide. And then you look at the other 2. How do you think that those 3 will kind of shape up and try and get at Northampton?
Well, I think Dan Adji, it's great to see him back. He'll obviously be leading the line, and he'll be that presence, stretching. Do you know what I mean? Stretching the defence, and you know he'll really keep them honest, and they'll be in a game. They'll know they've been in a game up against him today. I think, you know, hopefully, and I think, you know, obviously, I know they're still trying to manage his minutes. I think Richie will say to Dan Adji, look, just give me everything you can for an hour or so, and you know, see how you're feeling. But it's great to see him back. You know, he is he's a bit of a maverick. He can, you know, we know what he's like. He can conjure things out of do you know what I mean? Out of nothing, and he's got that. For me, he's got that little spark where, you know, he gets it, and you don't know what could happen. And then, you know, Randall Williams, I think when he first arrived, he started off really sharp, really bright, didn't he? And maybe he hasn't featured so much in recent games, but I'm expecting him to be like, you know, fresh, energetic, and you know, we've all seen how quick he can be. And I hope we can just get the ball to these guys. You know, him, Azim Abdullah, just feed them early. Do you know what I mean? Get them loads of touches. Get them facing up their fullbacks and defenders, taking people on, do you know what I mean? Combining 1-2s, positive, getting shots off. That's, I think, you know, Richie said after the game on Tuesday that, you know, when there was times where we were dominant, we were in the ascendancy, but couldn't capitalise and didn't manage to find the goal. And he sensed that we'd be punished. I think today it's, you know, the emphasis really be on, like, look, you know, when we get in attacking areas, let's make sure there's an end product. Let's make sure we're creating chances, getting shots off, testing their keeper. Do you know what I mean? Setting a good tempo, and you know, getting the fans involved as well. And yeah, you know, really sort of bringing the game to them.
It's what he does, isn't it, Jabba? You say like taking the game on Tuesday night. He was a constant threat for 60 minutes down that right hand side. It's just, it looks like he not only gets the team up, he gets the fans up, he gets everyone up.
Yeah, it gets it going, and like you said, once the fans get on side, then it just adds to the atmosphere and the intensity of the place. And you know, it takes him a bit to get into his stride, but once he's into his stride, this is what he does, this is what he delivers. You know, danger, unpredictability. You know, he creates something, like Joe says, he can conjure something out of nothing. And you know, you look at the way he twisted. That guy needs a hip replacement after that move. But I just think, you know, it's great to see him back fit, and I think he's going to play a big part in today's game.
Northampton probably looking to see if he's on the team sheet, because he is just a constant threat. As we saw there on Tuesday night, he only really managed 60 minutes, you probably imagine, due to having those minutes managed so that he doesn't blow up again in the running. But you want him for 90 minutes, don't you? It's a shame he's so explosive that you have got to manage it.
Yeah, he's absolutely electric, and when he's on his game, I think he's unplayable. I don't think there's a defender in this league that can handle him. You know, he's that good. He can play anywhere across the front line. You know, we've seen how effective he can be out wide, down the middle. I think if you keep him fit for a full season, I think he's a championship player. He's that good. It's just a case of trying to reduce the injuries and keep him on the pitch as much as possible. But you know, he's such a threat. He's exciting to watch, and he brings something different, doesn't he? Yeah. He's exciting. He'll take people on. He'll try things. You know, he'll go on the left, go on the right. Happy to shoot with both feet, and yeah, really good to see him back. Hopefully we can keep him fit for the rest of the season now.
Well, just over 10 minutes to go until kick-off, and before we take a look at the visiting side, let's hear from the man of the moment, the match winner, Dan Adji.
We're chasing now a bit. We've come out with the playoff spots, but we just take one game at a time each game, and we just need to focus on winning each game as it comes. And before you know it, probably find ourselves creeping up the table again. There is still a lot of football to be played, and we know what we're capable of. And the running that we're going to have is a bit more favourable now. But not saying that, because all games are tough at this level, and I think we just need to focus on each game as it comes, but not be too down on ourselves, not get too high, not get too low, and just take one game at a time. Being back's great, being out there with the boys every day, training, playing matches is what everyone wants to do, and probably my favourite part of playing football. And to be back's great, and hopefully now I can really kick on with my performances and help the team as much as possible and try and get as many points as possible. I'm getting fitter and fitter game by game and start getting sharper and sharper. I do think I can be a bit more sharper still, but I'm quite happy with where I'm at physically and so on and so forth. So now it's just about putting that into action on the pitch. I would say my form at the point where I got injured was good. I was feeling confident every game. I was feeling like I could take on anyone and probably come out with the ball, and I was creating chances and getting goals and assists, which is what I aspire to do. And hopefully I can continue to do that till the end of the season. When I'm in that state of mind, I don't really think too much. Everything just seems to flow. I know what I want to achieve going to every game, and ultimately we want to win. Every game is a big game for us. Saturday is important. We want to get back on the winning run. But I would say every game is important. There's still a lot of the season to be played. There's still about 25% of the season, which is a lot, and football changes really quickly. In the space of a week or two, you can look up and you can be back right in it. So we just need to take one game at a time. But Saturday is important, and we want to really just put a good performance together and get the win. I would say we're really confident that we can go on this run. I think the games that we have lost recently have been by fine margins, from set plays, and we haven't really been carved open recently or even this season. So I think once we can nip that in the bud a bit, the set plays, and we get better from that, I think, and whilst we continue to create chances, and hopefully we can keep scoring goals and just keep winning and get out the table.
Another top performance today, please, Dan. That would be much appreciated. And it's Northampton Town who Dan will be looking to cause some problems for. And let's take a look at the visiting side's lineup and how they shape up, with Kevin Nolan, of course, looking to drag his side further away from that drop zone. Starting in goal for the Cobblers is Lee Burge. They have Akinwale, Odemeo, Max Dyche, and the captain Aaron McGowan in defence. Across the midfield, they have Sam Hoskins, Terry Taylor, Ben Perry, and Mitchell Pinnock. And then the three attackers of Tyler Roberts, Cameron McGeehan, and Dara Costello. And on the bench for the visiting side is Nick Tzanev, Tyler Magloire, Timothy Ioma, Ali Koike, William Hondermark, Tariq Fosu Henry, and James Wilson. We've touched on it briefly, Jabbo, but they are a team that have been hovering around just above the relegation zone. They're not completely out of it, but they're coming into this game looking to really kind of probably put any dangers or fears aside.
Yeah, definitely, and I think there will be that thought in the back of the mind that we need to sort of at least try and get something to try and increase that gap. But if they do concede, they're going to be fragile. They're going to be worried, thinking, we're going to get drawn back in. So I think it'd be important for us to start very much on the front foot and try and get that early goal. I think mentally that will affect Northampton today. We've
spoken about Orient's attack, and if we look at Northampton's defending, it will be hopefully causing them some problems. They're where they are in the table for a reason, and we know what we're capable of when we're on our game, and we want to take this to them, don't we, as we'll see from the defensive clips. Absolutely,
and I think, as I said, our there's a lot of intent in our lineup. I think we're looking fresh, we're looking dynamic, quick, There's a lot of pace in the team, and Northampton will know all about the threats that our players pose, and I think it will be. I think they'll have to be at their best defensively. I think not saying they'll come here with sort of no kind of desire to go and try and win the game, but I think they'll definitely be trying to sort of contain our front line, at least in the early stages, and try and maybe hit us on the break or look to try and create opportunities on the transition, because I can see us being quite dominant today.
Absolutely. What are you picking up from watching here, Jabbo? I mean,
some
fragility.
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, they're very all over the place. The gaps are quite big. A lot of players running with their back to goal, which is never a good sign when you're a defender. And I think we can capitalise on that. There's a lot of spaces between the full-backs and the centre-halves, and it's stretched, so we can get into those pockets. I think we can exploit that today.
And a sellout here, a big away crowd, not too far of a journey for the visit inside. That pressure maybe ups a little bit after the last few results. You can't let that get you. You've got to lean into that a bit, haven't you?
Yeah, as I said, it's nice pressure. There's the opportunity to go and achieve something and do something. It's nice, look, the sun's out, back at home where we've been very good, and it's another game, another chance to get 3 points against very, very winnable opposition. So there's absolutely, I think there's no reason to be afraid or sort of tense or nervous. It's just a good chance to get back to winning ways today.
Are you sensing a bounce back here for the O's?
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll make a statement and set our stall out early and show our intent for the remainder of the season.
Well, confident words from Jabba. Hopefully that confidence spills out onto the pitch for the players as well. Well, kick-off is only a few minutes away, so whilst we await for the players, here they come. It's time to hand over to Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock.